on my friends list.
Not yet.
Yeah, I mean, I only have like 45 minutes before I gotta get back to work, so we better take care of this pretty quick.
You just need to get comfortable with the idea of you might be fired, all right?
Well, look, I mean, I can't help that at the sandwich shop, there's the lunch rush and then the double lunch rush.
That's true.
45
And all that
minutes
cheese
later.
we have to slice.
I know. I mean,
The only reason there's a double lunch rush is because fat people take twice as long.
Well, also we have the double lunch special. After lunch at 3, there's a double lunch, double sandwich special.
Double sandwich?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Oh, you
I
usually
mean,
work nights, huh?
Yeah, that's crazy. Wait, what's the double sandwich? I don't get it. Is
You
it
get
just
2 sandwiches for the price
it's
of one
just two
sandwich.
sandwiches.
It's not a double-decker sandwich. It's just,
I mean, you can do that, but
That's
we don't
a really
do it
good
for you.
idea that we just never thought of
because
that.
they're actually giving the customers one more
But
slice of bread.
The
than you
problem
should be.
with that
If
is
you do
that
double-decker, it's 3 slices. Of
you
bread.
know there's the bottom slice of loaf
Yeesh.
on the bottom, and then there's a top loaf,
Yeah.
and it's you can't switch that around.
Yeah, because
So,
at Gerald's sandwiches,
you end up-
we use a whole loaf per sandwich.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I'm
One
saying
way
you
or
got
the
the
other.
rounded top for the top, and the flat bottom for the bottom.
Yeah.
And after, if you would do a double decker, you end up using more than one bottom. You
They
use
can-
2
they can-
bottoms
they can
and
probably
1
hear us
top,
right now. We
and
should
then you
stop
got
talking about
excess
our job.
tops.
Yeah.
So I digress.
I'd rather
they-
have more bottoms than tops, right?
Yeah, it's better to be a bottom in my experience.
What do they say on Seinfeld? Top of the muffin to you? We
I
should
don't know.
have some sort
I've
of
never. What's
catchphrase like
Seinfeld?
that.
I don't.
What is that?
Yeah.
What's Seinfeld?
Gerald Seinfeld. That's what our sandwich shop is named after.
No.
Gerald Seinfeld.
No, I mean in the show Seinfeld.
Is that like Frasier?
Yes, it's like
It's a spin-off of Frasier.
It's a rip-off. It's a direct
Yeah.
rip-off of Frasier.
Damn.
And
Okay.
Friends. They
They're all friends? What's friends?
I just love that Niles character. He just makes me laugh.
Who's
Wow.
Niles?
Like the
Who's Niles?
river in Egypt?
No. That's not it.
It's the
Sorry.
Hair Club for movies. Hair Club
Take
for
out the snuggie.
movies. We watch the movies.
Leave that fucking
You don't
snuggie.
have to watch the movies.
The snuggie is not working.
Alright, welcome to the Hair Club. My name is Drew B.
My name's Andrew S.
Oh.
And my name is Michael Z.
Michaels, like the clothing store.
Like for xenophobe.
Yeah.
Xenophobe. Are you a xenophobe?
I think that's actually with an X.
Yeah,
oh,
it
Xeno.
is.
Oh, you're right. What?
Xeno, the warrior princess. It's a fear of
It's a fear of Xeno. It's a fear of the warrior princess.
It's a
Fear
fear
of the warrior
it's a fear of
princess.
warrior princess,
That's
yeah.
xenophobia.
What is xenophobia?
Isn't that the fear of like foreigners?
I think so.
No, I think it is.
Fear of
No, I
Xena.
think so, yeah.
Fear of
It's Xena, yeah. It's
terrible shows on Fox or whatever it was on.
It honestly
And,
that
like, shitty
almost
costumes.
ties into our topic of our current podcast.
Wait, what is that?
This past week we all watched. Actually, I think these guys watched it today.
I
We
did,
watched,
I did.
I watched it last night actually.
I watched mine
All
today. I watched mine today.
Okay, good. At least
Good,
you know.
fresh.
It's fresh. Oh yeah, it's fresh.
I actually watched
fresh
it
as I'm in.
Oh, all right.
trailer too.
All right.
Like, it was-
Be quiet. Tone it down.
I'm sorry.
You've had too many cheeseburgers.
Okay.
Today we're going to discuss the film Boys from Brazil.
Is it The Boys or Boys?
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not a rap group.
It's The Boys.
Tough boys.
The Boys from The Boys, Iowa.
The Boise.
Yeah, the film from 1978 based on a novel directed by Franklin
Oh, wait, it
J.
was dir-
Schaffner.
Yeah.
It was on a novel.
Yeah, I think the novel came out in 76, like right
Okay.
before the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, something about the theme in this movie. It's, I mean, yeah, it came out back then, so maybe like
Yeah.
the Berlin Wall hadn't even fallen yet. Like this
No.
sort.
No, yeah, because they're in West Germany at one point.
Yeah. Like I think their source. It's not. There. I got a taste of this movie that maybe this fear might have been a little bit more rational or like legitimized back then, maybe than
Yeah.
it is now. When I watched the movie, I was like, "Oh, this is a cool theory," but this is totally not true.
That's what I was talking about it today, at my girlfriend's work actually, and about this movie and how if this movie came out today, it would be like one of those made-for-TV sci-fi movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Zombie Nazis.
Almost like a ghost hunter, like sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like it's just ridiculous.
Nazis are almost like that shit happened long enough now to where it's almost like it's like mythical. It's
Yeah,
like
it's laughable,
it's like you can make a Nazi joke anytime you want, and it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But if you make a 9/11 joke, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
But wait 60 years and it's gonna be fine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, unless
And there will probably be like 9/11 NATO. There are so many terrorists caught up in this tornado.
How many clones of 747s are there?
Yeah, how many clones of Osama bin Laden can we make before
Honestly,
the world ends?
I'm not gonna lie about this movie. They were the first act was completely lost. I had no idea what the fuck was going on. I got that they were Nazis.
I actually liked it. I was more caught up with the fact that Steve Guttenberg
died so
was
fast.
the guy. First of all, the guy of Steve Guttenberg.
Yeah.
But I like that because I was like, oh, he's going to be the guy that's
he's going to be the main character.
He's gonna be
I love when that happens.
working with like the main or Laurence Olivier's character.
But they fucking kill his ass.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's like Litztenberg or something. Fucking, I forget his name.
It sounds like something.
No,
it's Steve Guttenberg.
Steve Guttenberg. Yeah.
Yeah, Steven. He's credited as Steven Guttenberg, which I thought was hilarious.
Historically credited. Yes.
That's like in if you watch
No, it's Mel Brooks actually. I think.
Yeah, he's actually Mel Brooks. That's racist.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch Boys in the Hood, Lawrence Fishburne is in it.
Really?
And yes.
Oh, well,
but he's credited as Larry Fishburne. In a lot of early movies that he's first in, he's credited as Larry Fishburne.
Yeah,
Larry Fishy.
Which is so funny to me.
Yeah.
What if it's Larry Fisher? That's his official name.
I'm
Fisher.
sure people really call him Larry.
I'm sure in real life he's Larry, but there might have been like in SAG or something.
Well, that happens fairly frequently with the guilds that like you can't have the exact same name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like there's Paul W.S. Anderson and then Paul Anderson.
Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah.
And then the guy who played the Human Torch in the newest Fantastic Four movie, his name is Michael B. Jordan.
Really?
Which is funny on two levels because he's
that's like Michael Scott.
Jordan B. He's this other Michael Jordan. But also, Michael Jordan has a SAG
That's the
card
guy that was in
Space Jam.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
He's in.
Wait, would he still have one? Would it be refreshed?
No, I think it lasts forever.
It lasts forever.
Yeah, I mean you're part of it,
Oh
and he's in those Hanes commercials. So I mean,
yeah, but those are commercials.
I don't know if
that's still acting, man.
No,
Yes.
no, you'll never see anything on IMDb for commercials.
There should be. I'm gonna say it right now. There should be. Why isn't there something like that for commercials?
Because they're useless.
But how often have you been like, there's a song? Remember that one commercial?
There's too many. You
have
unsearchable.
But there's a
Database.
there's documents
Seriously,
of that though. There has to be.
Yeah, but no one
the
one
notable
cares.
ones.
I'm gonna start it. God damn it.
Go ahead. Go
right.
ahead and try.
So Laurence Olivier,
Lawrence of Olivier.
he plays
Lawrence of
Ezra
Arabia.
Lieberman.
Lieberman. That's what it is.
A
Okay,
Nazi hunter.
Which I thought it was hilarious because his name is Lieberman, which leapst is like to read and to write. Library in German. Lieber, he's like a writer or whatever. Not that weird because whatever. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay, going back to what I was saying though before, the first act of this movie had me completely lost. Like, when we were doing the quiz and you said this had to do with Nazis and cloning, I was like, this is some sort of like.
Did you say it was about cloning?
I don't know.
No, he did. Yeah, I mean,
I might have.
You mentioned the cloning part.
I wish I would have went into this.
Maybe
movie
not
cold.
in the quiz, but after.
I tried not to give anything away, but I honestly haven't seen this movie in 14 years. I think. And
wait, did you watch it this past week?
I watched it again, but when I gave you the quiz,
you were just going.
I was going off of like I honestly remembered a different film from as a teenager.
I have to ask, when did you watch this? Like, what situation were you in where this?
It is important. We're talking about our love of cinema here. That's like our theme of the podcast.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of the reasons I was exposed to these movies so young is because I have an uncle Tom, who. He just loved watching movies. He had the biggest collection of movies I've ever seen, still to this day.
Okay.
Like, I remember when they were VHS tapes, taped off HBO.
Yeah. Oh,
and there was
my parents did that all the time.
500 plus movies, all labeled with a label maker. They looked uniform. They were alphabetized.
Yeah.
And he loved to just show people movies. And I lived down the street from him. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, he had two daughters that were a decent bit older than me. but he loved to show me like horror films, action movies, raunchy comedies like Airplane, stuff like that.
Stuff you shouldn't have been watching.
Yeah, and stuff my parents didn't want me to watch, so I loved it. He thought it was great, and that's why I've seen like Boys from Brazil, for instance. You know?
That stuff. Like, my grandma was the same way.
Yeah.
And, like, I would watch stuff on Cinemax, like, mostly horror movies and stuff. Like, but it would be like, oh, I want to watch this. Like, I know I'm scared of it. Like Candyman and stuff. Oh, God. But my nana would be like, you want to watch it? Let's watch it. Because we got to hang out and whatever. She didn't care. Yeah. But I would be so freaked out.
Your parents are going to have to deal with your nightmares.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
I don't have to be there.
But she was like exactly that. Like, I think everybody has somebody like that.
I didn't have like aunts and uncles that were so into movies that they would show me movies my parents didn't want me to see. Mm-hmm. But there were situations where like I would go just sneak into like my parents watching movies. Yeah. Like I wouldn't they wouldn't know I'm there, and my aunts and uncles wouldn't know I'm there. They're all like just sort of having like a pal
What
time.
if that could have been?
And I'm just
like
on the stairs. I'm just
They could end up like fucking each other, and you don't know what they do.
Oh please! When they're watching a movie,
Netflix and chill, bro.
You've got like 11 siblings. Your parents.
They got into some shit.
Listen,
man.
They did it. For the record, I'm one of 8. All right.
Okay.
So.
All right.
So that's reasonable.
I ended up watching like I hung out with my mom a lot. Like we were best friends growing up and stuff. And I remember we were just talking today. My girlfriend and I were just talking about The Sixth Sense and how I haven't watched it since when I was a little kid. Yeah. And how it blew my mind. And I watched that movie with my mom. Mm-hmm. And it this is like a complete tangent, whatever. But
let it ride.
It sparked my love for like special features and like being interested in how movies were made and like giving a shit about what is the theme of this movie and like what happened. Some movie came out in '98. It must have been 10 or 11 or whatever. Yeah. I think in '98 seems about right. I was young.
You know, I would bet 90.
It doesn't matter.
2000.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
The year 2000.
But remember on the VHS, it's like at the beginning of it's like stay tuned after the feature to see like blah 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 special shit about the thing. And my mom and I
music video.
My mom and I always watched that because we were both like, oh cool. And I remember it saying like it was M. Night Shyamalan like talking about like when you see red on the screen, it means like something fucked up's about to happen, whatever. Yeah. And when you see their breath, like they can see their breath. It's like there's like a ghost or whatever's gonna happen. Yeah. And I was like, oh fuck, like that
things can mean things.
That movie already blew my mind. Like, it was
already fun to watch.
He's
twice.
dead. Holy shit. Yeah. And then like, let's go back and watch it again because so I can see all these things. And I remember distinctly like that was the time when I was like, oh, movies are fucking cool. Yeah,
they can get really deep without anyone knowing about it.
Yeah,
that's the best.
Well, I mean, I was a kid, I was just watching whatever.
Yeah, Actually, do movies do that anymore for either of us? Like, I mean, I've never
like what
recently. I haven't watched a movie where it's blown my mind like say The Sixth Sense has. The twist has never been so dramatic.
I saw Inception in theaters and I didn't talk for like 10 minutes because it like fucked me up.
Yeah. Inception was great.
There's a lot.
It's mostly Chris. I think I can say
Chris Nolan.
Mostly
in
Christopher
general.
Nolan. Yeah. I think it's mostly Christopher Nolan nowadays.
And I just watched Gone Girl actually, and
don't say anything. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh man, have you seen it?
I haven't seen it yet. That's a different podcast. We can't talk about it right now.
I don't want to do that. For the podcast.
I want to see this movie.
We can talk about that separately. But
I've never been able to find a way to watch it.
The whole movie, my jaw was on the floor. Yeah. And it's like almost 3 hours long. Yeah. And it held my attention the whole time.
I cannot wait to see the movie.
I gotta say.
It's David Fincher.
I know. I mean, I really want to see it.
I was a little tired of that movie by the end. I know I probably.
I was like angry and I wanted to choke certain people.
Yeah.
But like, I cared. It's rare that my attention will be held for an entire movie when it's that long. When it's over 2 hours, usually I'm like, all right, I'm checking out.
If a movie is over 2 hours for me, I'm either watching it because of the director.
Or it's Lord of the Rings.
Yes, the director. Because of Gone Girl, I was looking on Netflix for more movies that were kind of the same tone. Yeah. And I just watched this movie, Nightcrawler.
Yeah,
I heard about Nightcrawler.
It's amazing.
Really?
I was actually gonna use this as a pick, but now I've talked about it some. I probably.
It's fairly recent too.
Yeah, I want to avoid more
year.
recent movies.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, whatever. New, like this year movies.
Yeah.
Can we have like a logistical discussion? Like maybe we can pick movies that we don't have a quiz about. Maybe we have a quiz.
No, I think we need to run. We need to tap that until we're done. I think
the quiz isn't too old. The quiz isn't difficult.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying
that's like my
I'm just
favorite
saying because
part.
we all have movies we want each other to watch.
like-
It's just we can't. Since we talk about them frequently, we can't. We
can have a movie club outside of the podcast too.
That cannot happen. We can't do two. We can't have a.
I watch movies. I literally watch probably a movie every other day.
I do too.
Yeah. And
I'm
I'm
not
always
kidding,
looking
I do
for
too.
movies to watch.
But this is why I'm thinking that maybe it can't be like a mystery movie. It's just like maybe we have a movie we all love and we all talk about all the time, but neither of us have seen.
I think we need to get some in. I think we need to get some out first.
Yeah.
Anyway, tangent.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Boys from Brazil.
Okay. Again,
So
the
what
point I was
wanna
trying to
hear-
make before. What?
From the point when I saw this as a teenager, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I watched it again a few days ago, and I loved it even more.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I thought it might be a little slow.
Uh-huh.
No.
After the first,
It was slow for me, but it was worth it. It really was.
Once Steve Guttenberg died, or that scene where he has the bug in the room, and Mengele is talking,
they start turning
like,
the room.
and it's such a good mystery.
yeah.
Because even, I shouldn't have given away the cloning thing, but even if you don't know, it's like, why is he killing these 94 men?
Exactly.
The world?
That was the.
I was like, is he going to use the bodies to make clones?
Honestly, had you not suggested this movie, I would have been out at that moment. When I'm
Yeah.
like, this is just going to be a nonsense movie. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell could this possibly be?
Yeah.
What could it possibly be? This is a pointless, like, just, it's a mystery, but what is it going to really
I
happen
do
to?
love movies that like are backloaded.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? Where it's like it's all built up, and then you find out, and then it's like, oh shit!
Yeah.
It's usually like horror movies that do that.
A great payoff.
Sure.
Will almost certainly make the film.
But the way they were presenting because I knew if it was going to be good, they would have to pay off. Why the hell are they killing these 95, 64-year-olds? 94, 65-year-olds?
65.
Yeah. Exactly.
94, 65.
94, 65-year-olds, yeah. Why the fuck are they doing this? And then at the moment, what's his name? Laurence of Olivier is like...
Laurence of Olivier.
Lawrence of Olivier. I'm going to say that from now on.
That's fine.
I can't drop it. Anyway, why... When his character finds out the second time, when the kid comes in, and he has the black hair and the blue eyes, that's when I found out. I was like, oh, finally, this makes sense.
Oh, he's Hitler.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. But I get it now.
Funny thing that my girlfriend pointed out, like, when he was a kid, he had blonde hair.
No.
He didn't have He didn't have dark hair. He never had,
I know, okay,
he's never had
mind.
black hair. The only reason he had black hair is because he had like pomade in his hair and it looked darker than it actually was.
Oh.
Yeah, and when he was younger, it was a lot lighter because people get older.
You're right. Yeah. Why would Hitler conveniently choose blonde hair, blue eyes if he wasn't in that category?
Right.
Yeah.
But also he was 14, so maybe by that point he got his hair was darker. But still, I thought that was interesting. She said that, and I thought it was.
That's just a factual.
But I was like, well, people won't notice. You don't won't. Yeah. This is his archetype. Or
I might have learned something in this movie. Was Hitler? Was his mom raped by his dad? Because I could have sworn they said that. They said there was some age difference. Massive age difference.
The father was meant to be abusive, and the mother is overly protective.
Protective of the kid.
It's when that scientist is explaining it to Lawrence's. I need his
Ezra Lieberman.
Yeah, Lieberman.
Lieberman. Okay,
Lieberman
I need to
is
remember
the
that name.
Nazi
Lieberman.
hunter.
Okay.
The scientist is a great character. I did love.
Yeah, I did.
I loved like his whole take. He's got like that really high pitched questioning tone. Like, it's great. It's his.
And he always had like little jabs, like little one-liners.
I feel like he was Mr. Magoo in like this very dark storyline.
They imply that he was a successful Nazi hunter too.
Like he might have been a badass in his day.
Yeah, it was great. Like seeing him with his sister in that apartment. Yeah, where there's like water pouring in.
Yeah.
That seemed very absent-minded professor-y kind of guy, like stacks of books everywhere, like he was like invested in this whole thing.
It made sense. The way they presented his backstory in a very brief way, that was really good. And I thought that's when I sort of knew it was going to be a good movie.
I thought it was cool that also this is built in like you said alternate history, but also beyond just Hitler, it was Dr. Mengele or whatever. That's
Joseph Mengele.
Mengele. It's a real guy that really
Yeah.
did fucked up shit. To the Jews and to whoever was in the concentration
and they said,
camps.
in the movie they said that he was the head doctor at Auschwitz. Which,
and I
if
also
you are the head doctor at Auschwitz, you are the worst person.
I also love the fact that they had that whole scene where they're explaining cloning, like people wasn't just
that was one that
commonplace at the time.
Up
but it's so funny,
well, because that at the time they were presenting the idea of cloning as like this new
most people that saw that.
But it's so funny how they explained it, and it's like they explained it very well. But I feel like it didn't need to be explained that.
No. Yeah.
Here's the thing: we're gonna make the same thing.
No, but that's the data. That's the
remember that cheap dolly?
Yeah. Remember that cheap dolly that happens like 20 years from now?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
But I was gonna ask you on the last one. You said that this movie affected your worldview, and I wanted to know why.
Well, it's because there's a bunch of Hitlers running around right now.
I think
affects my worldview.
Mostly, it's the nature versus nurture.
That's
argument.
what I wrote that down. I figured can it true?
What part of your genetics means that you're going to be a dictator? It's a perfect storm of
or just a
culture.
Dick.
Yeah, or just a mean person. Yeah.
I want to actually compare this to something that's almost the exact opposite of this movie, Harry Potter.
Okay.
In that
good point.
world,
I know exactly where you're going.
Harry Hitler.
In that world, they make it. Dumbledore makes it clear that Harry could easily be a villain.
Yeah.
That he has the courage and ambition. That if he was just slightly worse, almost like Anakin Skywalker.
Maybe not the courage. I think it was mostly like what they said, at least in the last.
Well, there's a prophecy.
Yes, it was the.
There's a prophecy.
He was the same. Almost identical. He showed so much promise when he was in school,
and he could have been
special.
He could have been in Slytherin.
Yeah.
But also, what's his name? The bucktooth dummy that ends up being awesome.
Oh, that's Neville Longbottom.
Neville. They're the prophecy that they talk about, and they say more about it in the books.
Yeah.
They say that. A child born on X dates, in this month or
July.
whatever, and Neville has is close to the same birthday, and he ends up actually being a hero too. He kills the last Horcrux, the snake. Yeah, so that's all. Yeah, Neville could have been Harry for all we know too.
Yeah.
Because his parents were also killed.
Well, and what Neville did, he led a rebellion within Hogwarts while it was taken over by the
so he was just
I wish that they would have, translated that into the movies as well, because they did. They did at the last movie, part 2 of what was it, 7?
Yeah,
the 7th book or whatever.
Yeah.
So
the 8th movie.
The 8th movie. The 8th movie. He is not out of nowhere, but he is very much just his own man in that movie.
He's been kind of built up. They've slowly built him up.
Yeah.
But he is a.
I wanted to see
there's
more.
There's the one scene where he pops out of a hidey hole, a secret passage, and he's bloody. He's got a sword.
He got a sword of Gryffindor.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't have the sword yet.
He gets the sword later, but I think he's got a weapon.
He comes out behind the painting
when they're letting him in through the secret passage.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And he's like, "Oh yeah."
And he's a lot more handsome too. Yeah. Suddenly,
somehow that worked out because
those teeth, casting, they gave him those stupid fucking fake teeth.
It's pretty easy.
Oh, they were fake.
His teeth are fake. That's why he looks so goofy the whole time.
Oh,
if you look at him in real life, he's real dashing.
Dude, he's got the most chiseled face. Yeah,
mad chiseled, yo.
Have you ever thought when they pick child actors, it seems
do you think they try to plan ahead?
Well, how do they figure out if these people are going to be attractive or not? It's funny.
Well, they talk about that. I've watched all the special features for all those, and they're talking about how they got Emma Watson, and she's supposed to be kind of homely.
Yeah.
And then she ended up being
just
kind of a babe.
Yeah.
And what do you mean? All of them actually really ended up being real handsome and attractive people. But I think that's it's probably a little bit due to globalization, maybe. Just everyone who, besides just decrepit people, who is really ugly that you know of, everyone, as long as they're clean shaven and showered, they look okay. Speaking of, can I talk about my very favorite part of this movie?
Yes. Good, please.
I would love to.
There is a scene where there is this banquet. And for the Nazis, whatever, somehow there's thousands of people that just love Nazis.
Dog, it's in Brazil.
Out of nowhere, whatever.
Yeah.
And Dr. Mengele is already paranoid because he thinks dude's on his tail or whatever.
Yeah.
And he sees the guy that prematurely killed other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he got mad about him because that guy was a Nazi officer. So I think he was banking on that was going to be, the one that panned out because he was already had Nazi shit in his blood or whatever.
No, the way I saw it was that, yes, when it's revealed that guy's a Nazi, it's not a coincidence. I think Lieberman was actually going to each of these houses asking, hey, was your parent a member of any party? Yeah. I think what they were getting at was that they only gave the babies away to at least affiliated Nazis.
Because the one guy was like, well, he thought black people was
the very last one.
Yeah.
What was their name? Oh shit.
The
people on the farm with
Wellkoff or
it's
Weakers.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The point I'm trying to make is they were at the banquet. He got mad at this guy because the guy killed the guy already prematurely because he says he doesn't have to be Monday.
Wheelock. Sorry, I keep doing that.
I kind of got
he kills the guy, and then he goes to the banquet, and dude thinks he's a traitor because he didn't kill him or whatever, and he's there with his...
And he almost strangles him in front of
He's there with his homely-looking wife.
Yeah.
No, ugly wife. He was right about that.
Well,
that was a big lie.
He gets there, and he chokes the shit out of him onto the table, whatever, and then his wife says something to him, and he says, and I wrote this down.
Yeah.
Shut up, you ugly bitch. I laughed my ass off. I had to pause it because I laughed my ass off.
It was a close-up of him saying
it was the fact of there was a close-up of her,
it was
and then right to him, shut up.
His eyes were
ugly bitch.
The whole frame of the shot was just his face. It was just shut up.
The way they made Gregory Peck look in this movie was great.
I loved Gregory Peck in this movie.
He was like, I was like, oh, that's Atticus.
Yeah.
That was the way I looked at the Nazi villain in this movie was the typical, maybe a little bit have you ever seen The Rocketeer?
Oh yeah,
not since I was a kid.
Okay, I couldn't help but think it was the same guy because he had the mustache and the same sort of dapper, but still very evil demeanor. And it was really.
He reminded me of
classic villain.
Did you guys ever see The Island of Dr. Moreau?
No,
either of them.
I did
There's
not.
oh man,
I saw the old one.
It's the same concept. I've only seen the new one. Newer one with the Val Kilmer, I think, is in it.
Yeah,
Val Kilmer. Oh, yeah. Okay,
well, it's similar. In hindsight, I hadn't thought about this movie in a long time, but the doctor in there he's experimenting with people, combining people with animals or whatever. I think. But that's pretty much the same kind of thing. But that guy, they both dress like Colonel Sanders and real dapper kind of dudes in the jungle somewhere experimenting on people. I don't know. It's similar concept. But they both came out around the same time, I think, though.
What was the name of the guy? Okay, so, this is a little obscure. When he goes to Switzerland, and he goes, that one Nazi assassin or whatever.
That he throws off the...
Yeah, he throws off the side of that giant, dam. Is that a dam, or is that just a bridge?
It's a dam.
Okay, it's a dam. But,
goddamn.
So, yeah. When he gets there, at this point in the movie, he's going up to the guy, dastardly approaching him because I knew this must be the guy he's going to kill.
Yeah.
And, it's convenient that he gets to the excuse that he just fell over the edge. But then he, starts talking to him, and I'm like, oh, maybe he's not going to kill him.
I know, yeah.
And then there's this moment where the assassin himself, the Nazi who's, went out to
kill the
guy. He, in the first act, is the guy who... raises his hand in the meeting before they know the bug's discovered.
Yeah.
He's like, why are we doing this? Why are we killing the 64 or the 65?
94.
The 94 65-year-olds. And the dude's just like, don't ask questions. You're supposed to be loyal.
I think
the same guy gave him the same answer, and I was like, oh shit. And he says, I can't make heads or tails of this, and I'm in his position at this moment.
Yeah.
I have no idea what he's doing.
Yeah.
I have no idea why
I think he's speaking for the audience.
He's like, I can't make heads or tails of it. And then he ends up killing the guy. Mm-hmm. For some reason, that was the point in the movie where I was like, okay, this is going to pay off. This isn't a mistake. They are setting up first act, second act, third act, references.
And I guess after you saying that, I think that Mengele already had in his mind, like, this guy's questioning me.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just that he didn't kill the guy, it's that, okay, he questioned me already. And then he fucking was at the goddamn bank when he's supposed to be in Switzerland killing this motherfucker.
Well, no, the reason I actually paid attention to that part, like, I had to rewind because I didn't know why he was choking him. I was like, what the fuck is he doing?
Okay.
But he did explain. When he attacks the guy, he says, this guy betrayed you, he betrayed everyone in this room, and I didn't know why. But then when he's finally back in that, like, quiet room with, like, that, like, Maltese Falcon, like, above them, I didn't get that reference, but...
Yeah.
Well, it's an Iron Falcon, whatever.
I guess,
like
yeah. But he was patching him up, and he was talking to the executioner, I forget his name, that just came into the room, broke the hard news to Mengele, and the reason he strangled the guy, I figured it out. I was like, oh, it's because he's back in Brazil, whereas Mengele thought he was out doing a mission. It's like, why did you come back, you coward, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then he said, no, we called everyone back. And he's like, Mengele's like, why?
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, he said, we called everyone back.
I did have a problem following...
They tried to break the plan. Like, they decided, because Lieberman was on their tail.
So close, to finding everyone.
I guess I didn't get that. I thought that he just, like, finished up early and came home.
Yeah.
But I did have a problem following some of it because I watch everything with subtitles, and there were no subtitles on the DVD, and it really it was hard for me because
even though they were speaking English,
but there were people they were speaking with fake German accents,
very thick, like
put on accents, you know. So that was hard, and the audio was in mono on the DVD.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as loud. So I had to like have it up on 60 where I usually have it on like 30 or whatever.
Where the music is killing your ears.
And I was like leaning forward the whole time trying to like really, but I think that actually made me pay attention more too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I get lazy with subtitles because I'll be like, because I like to pause a lot and like talk with my girlfriend or whatever, like, you know, rewind and like think about it, you know, whatever.
But I
was getting mad because she was like, wait, what's going on? Okay, is this what? And I was like, stop, I can't fucking hear it. We almost got like mad at each other because we couldn't fucking, we were both like, I watch everything with subtitles just because it's a lot easier for me to, because my mind goes off. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, what's going on with this?
But if part of your mind is reading it,
then I'm already, then I can like, if I can, a lot too. And I can like have a conversation like, oh, this is going on, and still like be reading it inside of my eye or whatever, and like catch words like, okay, this is what's going on.
I will say, I think that's not to be like too much of a technology nerd, but I think having a sound system, or I often watch movies with headphones, it makes it a lot easier because...
It's like in your head.
It's like the TV, the built-in speakers aren't going to give you the different levels that are meant to be there. You know?
And especially with headphones, like it's literally in your head. Yeah. And like it commands you to pay attention to. Yeah. But I mean that's what subtitles do for me because I have to like watch things, and if I really am trying to understand, I'll pause or talk about it while it's happening, so it's a lot easier for me to follow it. And also like. I can just hear sounds, and then like sounds will overlap, and it's like wow, like one, you know. But that's like ADD, whatever. Also,
sometimes when I'm watching movies, I will like even the first time I'm watching movies. Say I go to the movie theater watching like something,
whatever new movie,
some crazy new movie, and I'm watching it, and I start daydreaming about like they say one thing or some one thing happens, and I'm like, oh. That reminds me of this thing.
Go off on that.
What if this happened? I'm like, if I shot a movie, it would be this. And then I come back, and I'm like, I didn't pay attention to anything.
Yeah, sometimes it'll even be a really good part of the movie. Yeah. It's like something that excites you specifically.
Yeah, personally. Like, when it hits like a nice chord.
But it reminds you so heavily of something else. That happens to me.
Well, like a lot of time,
gives me an idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of time I'll like be watching something and like notice like something they did, like wonder how they made that happen. Like how did they... It's usually that for me now, like technically like, wonder what they were using, what kind of like camera moves they were doing with that, or is that CGI? Yeah. Is that other things? You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's usually stuff I get caught
Is that CGI is a question that comes into my head a lot now.
Sure.
I don't know why, but I'm so enthralled. It's like if something does look great, I'm like, is that CGI? Yeah, I'm like, is that CGI? That's and then in my head, I'm like, but it can still, it's not like something that doesn't exist.
Yeah. We saw Birdman in theaters and we've all seen Birdman, right?
I have not.
Oh,
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, mama.
I thought we'd all seen it. Oh,
Don't say anything.
Okay, well,
I'm gonna be this person.
that happened a lot to me when I was seeing that. Like, oh shit, this is. Oh, okay. This is one shot. Oh my god. Yeah.
With,
That's not really a spoiler. That's like the whole thing.
No, I know. I get. I've seen
film.
like very notable clips where like the stage is disappearing and like all of a sudden he's in like a different environment. It's like pretty cool. I don't know. I think that my favorite movie that's ever done the long shots ever is Children of Men.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
I've never.
That's Quran.
Alfonso Cuarón.
But Birdman was in Iñárritu, right? Or was that Quran?
No, it's
it was not Cuarón.
I think it's Iñárritu. They're both.
Inuyasha.
Yeah, well, Iñárritu did.
Inuyasha. I just remember. That's an anime.
He also did Babel and like Amores Perros. Yeah.
Okay.
They're both great, and they're both like from the same era.
Kind of similar movies too.
Yeah. Spanish cinema.
You know what?
Like Mexican.
This thought just popped in my head, but do you think that Mel Gibson hates Jews so much because he has the same name as Mel Brooks?
Oh, Mel.
Is that like the biggest motivator for him to be anti-Semitic?
Mel,
He's like, fuck Mel Brooks. I'm Mel Gibson, baby. I need to not be Mel Brooks.
I think Mel is a very.
They're the only two people named Mel in the entire.
Is he trying to fight his own identity? Is Mel Gibson Jewish?
Braveheart.
Oh my god.
You know what I'm saying?
Braveheart.
Like,
yeah.
It's like, what's that?
Mad Max? Are we?
Max Brooks made the Zombie Survival Guide and also.
And then has the same name as Mel Brooks.
It's his son.
Max Brooks. Okay.
Max Brooks' son. Yeah.
I have some final notes about.
Okay. Yes.
Before I get to them, so you said your favorite part.
That was my favorite part. Is shut up, you ugly bitch.
When he strangles that woman.
My favorite part. Okay, maybe it's weird to say it's my favorite part.
No, say it.
But at the end, when you see Mengele on the they're both Lieberman and Mengele on the couches, they're bloody. Dogs are in the middle, which by the way, the dogs were an awesome addition to that scene. Awesome. I don't know how they had those dogs that well trained, but that was awesome.
Because dogs are easy to train.
No, but they were in sync. Anyway, so they're both on the couches. The little Hitler comes in. Little Hitler comes in.
That's like a sitcom waiting to happen.
It's like Little Britain or something.
The alternate title was 94 Little Hitlers.
That just gives away the whole.
Really quick, they never explained why there's 94 and not 100, or even 100.
I think it was hard to find the. They were
trying to shooting for 100.
No, they were trying to be symbolic.
They were trying to get the exact the circumstances in place.
Yeah.
Well, there's not 100 bad dads to be found.
Well, no, but only one would match.
They had to come from a Roman Catholic background.
Yeah.
The mother was 20.
Well, in my mind, I thought
father.
that 6 of the kids died or something.
Yeah.
6 of them died.
Oh, I see.
You know what I'm saying?
I see, yeah.
Because 6 of them, that was my hypothesis.
But
all right, so back to your...
when he comes into the room, I mean, he really does start acting like Hitler. He doesn't really. He says, "Oh my God, who are you two?" Or
Oh, I love also that they mentioned the dad's well, it's a little artsy fartsy from if you ask me. But the phone was yes, they got the artist thing in there.
Yeah.
I of course I get excited about them mentioning that Hitler's an artist.
Yeah. But then
he's a shitty artist. But
he starts sort of just asking them questions. Completely devoid of where's my dad? Why are these people in my home?
Yeah,
they are both bloody and I mean, he starts asking about the gun, but it's something strange about how I sort of see how Lieberman was on the trail of Nazis. Mengele is who I should have said. Mengele sort of really did believe in this kid because he was displaying it right in front of him. It's this is a sadistic little fuck.
Yeah,
he told the dogs to kill Mengele and was sort of okay with it and was whoa, cool. He was taking pictures.
I think he also wasn't that after he found out his dad had been killed too.
Yeah, because he said he said go look for your dad. Listen, he killed him or whatever.
Yes, but it was specifically the part when the guy's dead and he says cut, And then the kid like grabs his camera and is like, "Oh, whoa, look at this!" And he starts taking pictures.
That's the very first thing he walks in the room is like, "Whoa!"
Yeah,
takes pictures.
I was like, "What the fuck is going on with this kid?" At that moment, I didn't know what the hell to think. I was like, "Should I assume that Lieberman is right and we should believe these kids are okay?" Because what they're presenting to us is that this is little Hitler.
Well, but he's also maybe he's just an inquisitive kid or whatever.
That's a weird kind of inquisitive.
But he's a weird artist type. You know, there are plenty of weird artist types.
Yes. They showed specifically, though, at the end, him developing those photos and, like smiling at them, really, secretively, enjoying what he saw.
They almost cut that scene because they thought it was too dark.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, not too dark by my own taste, but for the theme of the movie.
It's a dark
because Lieberman at the end burns the paper and he's like, "No."
I was going to say that's my favorite part is when he's talking about the nurse giving him cigarettes.
Yeah.
And he just casually lights the list on fire.
Yeah.
I guess that scene, that end scene where he is very obviously into murder and stuff, kind of ruins the theme of the movie.
It changed what the audience is supposed to feel.
It kind of slants you one way.
It really does because But also, they should have cut it.
At the same time, I was watching it and thinking well, yeah, he's fucking mad because this dude murdered his fucking dad.
Yeah. Yes.
And he just had these dogs that are trained already to attack people.
Yeah.
And his dad already set him up as being an asshole and to kill people.
Yeah.
So
I get it.
I think you can recover from that, but you're not going to be a dictator, but you're probably going to be a fucked up person.
It was him taking the pictures and the scene of him developing those pictures that
but there's
really highlighted
there's a difference
that
between
it wasn't just
being
killing your dad's killer. It was he
got off
loved that it happened in the first place.
Sure.
Yeah. It was really weird.
Sure.
Yeah. And he was on the phone with the what was it, the ambulance or something like that. He was like, if I don't call the ambulance, you'll die, right? And it's just
he's twisted.
Yeah, he's really fucked up. And that's what really, because at the end, I thought what was going to happen was the little kid was going to come in, see that there's these two strangers, and at that moment you're going to see that he's just a kid.
I wish it would have been he was a real sweet kid.
That's what I mean.
And because that would have twisted, but you can't.
Mengele would have been fucked up.
But you can't make a movie where you're well, what if Hitler was nice?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's okay to imply, the way they imply it, that Lieberman wants to protect these 90 kids because there's the chance that some of them are going to be great.
Sure.
And that's why you can't just kill them outright.
Yes, for no reason.
Yeah.
Which is what the theme at the end was driving home for me. I was like, yes, the Nazis are bad. You can't exterminate a group of people because they just are a certain your mind,
because that's exactly what Hitler did.
That's what I mean. But then they introduced the idea that yes, all these kids might be pieces of shit.
Well, but there might just be spoiled brats, and that doesn't mean they should be killed.
And they also they did
actually highlight that the kids were brats. They had to be brats.
Well, and they were engineered to have a shitty childhood with an abusive father.
Yeah,
that,
you're right.
It's I mean, maybe they grow out of it. A lot of people are asshole teenagers. I'm sure
most people. Absolutely. What if I had my dogs kill someone and then took pictures of it and then laughed at it and jerked off afterwards? Maybe I would have.
Okay, the jerking off scene was edited out.
As in the special features. Yeah.
All right. I have a few wrap-up notes, and this is part of the reason I picked it.
Yeah.
Nature versus nurture was a term popularized by Francis Galton, who's a half-cousin of Darwin.
Oh.
But also one of the pioneers of eugenics, which the driving force behind
the Nazi
regime.
Wow, that is a double whammy.
That's crazy.
What if Darwin was a Nazi?
But I don't think he would have been.
That's just a comment.
Well, in eugenics itself, if you read at its base, the idea is to improve.
They're trying to get to a truth.
They're not it doesn't imply you should harm people or say certain people are lesser class.
They're trying to classify what the differences are between certain races and why maybe some people are smarter than other people, but which is bogus. It's just this was their attempt to at the surface level try and classify
it talks
everything.
about black people having more than one muscle in their legs so they can slam
I think that's probably
they're getting into just specifics.
I was thinking it as a joke, but is that really what's?
Well, they would get into different skull sizes.
Mengele was really into basketball, so.
That's You know who else is in
this stems
basketball?
from he did not get picked
in
grade school. So
Kim Jong-il.
Yeah,
It's true.
Have you guys ever heard of? I know this movie is about Hitler's clones, but the ancestors or the ancestry of Hitler.
I know that there is a documentary about people finding.
Yeah.
But what about it? Go ahead.
Well, I didn't read that much. I remember the downside is I remember reading this article years ago and I couldn't find it. Mm-hmm. So some of these things are not sourced.
Okay.
That's all right.
But all right, so
you can, if you have any comments or questions or shitty things to say to us, you can follow us on Twitter at hairclub4 the number movies.
Yes.
And
that's also our Gmail email. If you want to
email, it's also our password.
I love that we're just saying it's not actually. I love that we're saying all that on the fifth podcast or whatever.
It's okay.
You brought it up.
No one's
Stick to your guns, bitch.
No one's gonna listen to any of these.
I should have made it.
All right. So Hitler just had nieces and nephews. Many decided to never marry or bear children. There's rumors that he has hidden relatives in the U.S. from one of these nephews
because they're clones.
Some say they live in Long Island. There was a guy, David Gardner, wrote a book, "The Last of the Hitlers."
Wow. The Last of the
Hitlers. But that's what it would be. That's the correct usage.
And that's where most of this information came from. Yeah. But the son of Hitler's nephew, William Patrick Stewart Houston.
Okay.
Alexander said that there is, in fact, no pact to end the Hitler bloodline. And this is the one thing I couldn't find the source for.
No one agreed.
Well,
that we're not going to
the rumor was that all the ancestors of Hitler had agreed, we're just not going to marry, we're not going to have kids.
They all had a round table meeting.
Because they all decided, this is a huge burden. We, our ancestors, we cannot, the most recent living monster.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just kill themselves?
Because I'm sure a lot did.
Actually, a few did.
Yes, I mean, you say that, but
Can you imagine?
Don't make your jokes.
Can you imagine? That would be
changing your name is one thing, but
just knowing.
I mean, I have an ancestor that was a Confederate and was part of the KKK.
Oh my god!
Do you understand that all of us have someone who understands something?
Not me, dude.
Oh yeah, because you're flawless. Yeah, you were a slave at one point.
I'm French and Native Americans, so they're all bad people.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I look back and I think
just the French.
I look at I'm proud of where my parents came from, where my grandparents came from.
Yeah.
They all turned out to be decent.
Yeah.
Despite whatever.
Well, I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Everyone comes from. There's one person in everyone's family that's a fuck up.
That's an asshole.
Everyone's got an alcoholic uncle or something.
Yeah. No, worse. I just have racist cousins. That's the worst part.
Oh, there you go. That's even
They're in my generation.
Yeah, that is
how
worse.
well they are racist. Yeah.
At least the racists of my family are closeted.
Really?
Yeah.
You see mine? Oh, okay.
That's my dad. That's my dad.
Yes, they're closeted.
I have one. I have a black friend.
They just post stuff on Facebook. I'm just like, only racists would post this.
My dad complains about why isn't there a white college fund? Why is there a Negro college fund?
Yeah, when people say that, it's like, you don't get it, do you? You don't get it.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, this point might be lost now.
Yeah.
No. All right. So we were talking about why a lot of Hitler's ancestors, they killed themselves. They won't have kids.
Yeah.
But there are some that are in hiding. They have changed their names. Yeah. And they believe that the very beliefs that imply that Hitler's ancestors are inherently flawed or evil are the same beliefs that drove the genocide perpetrated by the Nazi.
Truly, I was about to say that during your reading of that, I thought this idea that just because you're related to a bad person, but it has nothing to do with your genetics. Never lead to ideology or of these. Well, genetics never lead to ideas, if that makes sense. Ideas can be the nail that
Well, it's the nature nurture argument.
Yeah, and these days there's a consensus that nature and nurture constantly influence each other. They're both a part of you.
Yeah.
But they're constantly loops just feeding back into one another.
Unknowable.
It's not that one is irrelevant and one is more.
It's like people.
They both matter.
It's like the kids that are lost in a forest and then they hang out with wolves and then they think they're a fucking wolf.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like...
That's totally relevant.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it is.
No, but I know what he's saying.
You're
meaning,
nurtured by a wolf, and you get
just think
taught
you're
to
a wolf.
be a wolf.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
the thing is, the reason I've had this conversation about evolution in general with a lot of people, Max specifically.
Max, yeah.
But
our coworker at Gerald Sandwiches.
Yeah, he fucking does not get evolution. Anyway, that's for later. That's neither here nor there. I was talking about how the way we act and talk to each other right now, this is resting on a spear point of civilization. It's not that our genetics mean that we're going to be smart, we're going to know how to talk English, or be able to make anything. If, say, I have kids and I have, like, one of my kids gets lost in the woods, he's not going to be anywhere near what I am.
He's going to know how to start a fire with a fucking rock, though.
Maybe, or maybe he's going to
die.
Or maybe he's probably going to just die.
If he's related to you, that's
yeah, that's true. But do you understand what I'm saying? Like, genetics do not mean you're going to be a certain person.
Sure, but they definitely inform parts of you.
It's the parts that can make you more susceptible to certain things, not the instigation of bad ideas or bad notions
or maybe not
bad behavior.
You can't completely disprove that. I would say
I can't. You're right. I can't disprove it. But I think that example highlights that one leans more
that
in the
it's
other
unknowable.
direction.
Sure, yeah. I think probably.
Well, nothing's unknowable.
Well, my girlfriend and I, she's actually read a lot about like philosophers and stuff, and like knows way more than me. I wish she'd be on this, but she's afraid to. Anyway.
Yeah.
About how people have no nature, and that's an irrelevant conversation
because it's a mix.
Because it doesn't matter. Yeah, because there's no way of knowing.
Okay.
Sure. So
sense.
I think it's unknowable.
Well,
but I think that's where we should stop this because it'll be tangential for like 3 hours.
At an academic level, I think you're right. There's no way of knowing someone's nature, but people do have nature. People do have a fallback to their what you can expect them to do in certain situations.
Sure, but I don't think that's what we're talking about.
Okay, I guess
I think if you're born away, I think that's irrelevant.
I think what we can all take away from this film is that Hitler sucks, and that Lieberman was like Mr. Magoo. He was thrust into a situation he did not want.
Yeah,
it was
but
like,
he
I'm tired and now I want to sleep. Oh, this looks interesting. And then all of a sudden he's in a fucking fist fight. He's like biting.
Yeah,
that was the weirdest.
Man.
Actually, that was the weirdest part of the movie for me.
There's a problem. I had a problem with his fighting technique because he like chose to like just grab his sides of his cheeks and not just choke the shit out of him. He totally could have killed him.
I thought that like
he was frail though.
That's
smaller.
You can choke the fuck out of somebody at any age.
That's the weird part about this
beefy guy at that.
That's the weird part of this movie though. Is like Lieberman, the whole movie is like this old man. He like someone's grandpa, and then he opens this door, and the dude's like. Lieberman, and they just fucking start fighting. Like he gets shot and then start pounding him. Like out of nowhere, he's a badass.
He got shot immediately.
Adrenaline, son. Yeah.
I get it. It's just
adrenaline, son.
It's just okay. It's just so it was like it was never even implied that he could do that.
Let's move away from the tangents.
All right, yeah. That was about the movie.
I know, but I mean, we could keep going.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want to run super long.
It's quiz time.
An hour's fine. Wait.
It's quiz time.
You still remember that one? I think I see the sheet music.
Quiz nose.
You got it?
Cool. That's good.
Right. Quiz nose.
Okay.
Quiz nose.
So this movie, I was inspired to pick this movie because you said something. Michael said something about, and also I think we should start referencing each other's names when we are saying something to something.
We do talk to each other, but we don't say names.
But anyway,
I agree with
Michael. You said something when you picked this movie, The Boys from Brazil. You said something about it affecting your viewpoint of the world or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I thought about, well, what movies like affected me when I saw them, and this movie didn't really affect the way that I saw the world, but it kind of made me think like, oh wow, this could be me if if my shit fails, like if art doesn't pan out for me, if I keep being like kind of a negative dude.
Maybe a mirror.
Are we gonna watch the comedy? You
got it. It's actually the comedy. I thought it was funny. I was trying to think of movies that like I would want to watch, and I was like, they're all like just like kind of a little depressing.
Yeah,
but that's just
fine.
like
That's your style.
That's what
okay.
the stuff I like. I think that it's good that each of us bring our own thing, whatever.
Like tastes.
And it's each of us will see movies that we would have never seen before. I think that's the whole
I would
point.
never. I would have
definitely never watched this.
Seriously, I like even if I came across it, the first act had me so confused.
Third act is more important, really.
Yeah, this is Act 3 after all. Yeah.
But anyway, okay, so this movie was made in 2010. Movie was made in 2010. And actually, there's a through line to the two movies that I picked, unbeknownst to me.
Okay.
I haven't watched this movie in maybe a couple years, but I saw it when it came out. I saw it in theaters.
Jurassic Park.
No, because that would have been impossible. Came out in 2010.
Okay.
And the soundtrack, this is the first soundtrack by LCD Sound System frontman James Murphy, who was also in the comedy.
All right.
Which I didn't know that.
The Social Network.
No.
Shit.
Not The Social Network.
All right.
It's a Noah Baumbach film. He made The Squid and the Whale.
Yeah.
And Francis Ha and some other stuff. And indie director.
I almost guarantee I'm not going to get it for that reason. I'm not going to guess this movie.
I would be surprised. I think I'd be surprised if you guys got this.
Okay.
So it stars Ben Stiller in the main role.
2010.
Yep.
Walter Mitty?
Oh Jesus.
No. It's not. It's a good.
Is it Greenberg?
Yes.
I never saw that either.
Shit.
Yeah.
Greenberg.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Yeah. I watch a lot of movie trailers. And
it's one of my favorite movies.
All right.
Greenberg. I could have sworn. Wait a minute. Was that on Between Two Ferns? Was that the fucking the clip they showed without the video clip? Was that just the audio?
I
thought that was fake. I thought that was fake.
They talk about it in. Have you guys seen?
I thought that was fake.
I'm Still Here, the Joaquin Phoenix movie.
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh shit! Well,
Greenberg. I swear, I could have sworn that was a spoof. I thought they recorded a bunch of audio clips and played it on Between Two Ferns, like this was another Ben Stiller like shit movie or something.
No, it's not shit. It's like a comedy. It's like a. Have you seen Squid and the Whale?
I have not.
I think
it's like a.
No, I saw Eagle vs. Shark.
Okay, that's a lot. I got those movies confused when
Eagle vs. Shark.
It's like kind of it's an indie comedy, but it's a awkward. It's like a not a dark comedy, but just like I saw one of the reviews on IMDb. It was an anti rom-com. An anti-romantic comedy.
Okay.
Because the character, the Greenberg, Ben Stiller's character, he used to be in a band and they like put out a good album and they almost got signed, but he's like a curmudgeon, like an artist and but just fucking pissed. He's 40 now.
Okay.
And his brother is pretty successful and he's house sitting for him while his family goes to vacation in some place.
Yeah.
And now he's a carpenter and angry that he didn't fucking make it.
I see.
And that's his character and he meets a girl and stuff. And
All right.
kind of slow, but it's like an hour 47, 2 hours and maybe hour 47, I think is what it said.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right.
I like it.
Yeah.
Greenberg.
Cool.
Honestly, I really thought that was fake.
Legit, I used to have the fucking poster for this movie in my bedroom.
Really?
Shit.
Yeah. My friend used to work at an independent movie cinema, and that's where I saw it, and he gave me the poster.
Would you say, given your own taste, would you say that this is your favorite Ben Stiller movie then? Or?
Oh, I mean, I really like Tropic Thunder.
Yeah,
but that's apples and oranges. That's apples and oranges.
I watched Walter Mitty like 2 weeks ago.
Haven't seen it.
And I was surprised. I didn't think I would like it so much, but I thought
okay, well, from the tone that I gather from the trailer, I think this is along the same lines. Kind of an existential.
Okay.
It just hit me when I saw it. It was very a depressed guy and whatever.
It hit the notes,
Yeah, like this could be me if I'm 40 if I fucking decide to be a bummed out dude forever.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I mean, when I try and project who I'm gonna be in like a couple years, I'm like, if I don't just fucking change my attitude, I'm going to be the piece of shit. So when I see movies like I'm not judging this movie yet, but I'm imagining that he overcomes it in a way. Or maybe copes with it in a decent way, then I don't know. When I watch movies like that, I realize that people
there's definitely an arc in his character.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about your attitude, man.
Yeah, it is. And all about
you just gotta keep on.
All about how handsome you are. That's a big part of it too.
On.
If you're good,
That does have
good.
a lot to do with life, as I've realized.
White
being white is good.
Really, it's great.
My mom used to say,
you can wipe your own butt.
My mom used to say
you can wipe your own butt,
that people would get by on their good looks, and man, that's true.
It's true.
People do that.
Yeah,
it's true. They might not be as happy as other people, but they can definitely survive their entire life.
I think we're all screwed.
I would say the opposite. I think we're all handsome.
Out of all of us, I think I look the best. By the way.
Well, that's not
hair
that's
loss
a different
aside.
podcast.
Yeah. Okay.
Look at my head of hair, man. I mean,
you got a full head of hair, bitch. Don't you talk?
It's the Hair Club for Movies. Hair Club for Movies. We hate the Nazis, so we talk about the movies.
We successfully connected hair to movies in that last segment right there.
Wow, that's a segue.
That was.